Hey everybody, this is Ron and I'm back, and I'm actually going to catch up on some questions here for this session, and I've got several, so I'm going to go down the list and answer them one at a time. And I apologize if some of these questions look like they're 10 or 12 days old, and even though we only promise you that we'll answer them on the recording like I'm doing now, generally we fire back the answers and then take some of them and put them on the recording, but I don't think any of these have been answered. We've had a little manpower shift in the office, so our fault, my bad. But I'm going to go down here and knock them all out right now and get them all in one place. So here we go. First one is from Marianne Nunez from Garden Grove, California. She says, I live in Garden Grove, and if I want to get in and out in an axe deal where the owner agrees to do an owner financing agreement with a buyer, can you explain if title is transferred or deeded to the buyer, and does the buyer get to claim the property taxes and homeowner's insurance and the interest at the end of their taxes, the end of the year for their taxes? The answer is yes, Mary. From what I read, you're going to go get a purchase and sale agreement to purchase the property with owner financing from a seller. Then you're going to assign that agreement to a buyer and get an assignment fee. That's an axe deal. And then when that closes, that buyer is responsible for the taxes and the insurance as part of their monthly payment, and the buyer gets to write off the interest that they pay, and the seller gets to write off the interest, or has to claim the interest that they receive. And if they have an underlying loan, then they get to write off the interest that they're paying. So I think that answers that question. She also asked, if I do the deal where I use an LLC instead of signing my name on the agreement with the seller, you mentioned it didn't cost much to get an LLC, but I was told that I'd have to pay about $800 a year when I do my taxes. Is that true? Well, first of all, doing your taxes has nothing to do with your annual statewide LLC or incorporation fee. I don't know what it is in California, Mary, but if it's $800, that'd be very high. But on the other hand, that's not unusual for California. Then that's what it is. That means that it's going to be that cost for any entity, and the truth is you're going to have an entity if you want to do real estate to any great degree, so you don't bite the bullet and get over it. But I don't believe that your annual fee is $800. I just don't know. Okay, next question is from Joseph George. Joseph does not, yes he does. He tells me he's from Hutchinson, Georgia. Thank you for telling me your city, Joe. He says, hi Ron, I found a few deals suitable for axe, and following the script, everything goes smoothly until the seller says, it sounds okay. How many of these have you done? What's the best answer? I tried it's my first one, and I'm hoping you'll help me get it right, but so far it's not working. All right, Joe. Look, here's my answer. If it's an axe deal, as you say, here would be my response. Well, listen, this is a brand new technique in the marketplace today. I haven't been doing it very long, but the truth is it doesn't make any difference how many of them I've done, because you won't be dealing with me. It's my job to go find the tenant buyer, bring them to you, and then you approve them, and we're putting them in the house. From that point on, they're dealing with you direct. So how many of them I've done is of little importance to you. I guess the real importance to you is if you want somebody to start making your payments for you, or you want to continue doing them yourself. That'd be my answer, Joe. Okay, Marcus. Okay, Marcus, you know who you are. Acevedo, and you don't tell. Yeah, you do. South Florida, from South Florida. Do you think it's best to have one answering service, or answer to answer my yellow letters with a simple hello, or do you have a house for sale? Then give those leads to the more trained VA and have that, cut to the chase here. Here's what we do. I have Pat Live at patlive.com/Ron LeGrand answering live calls on the inbound. They take down a little bit of information and then they forward it to me or to you, and then you have your VA call to fill out the property information sheet. Now that's only applicable, of course, if you're having inbound calls such as yellow letters. When you're having people call on FSBOs, then they call the FSBOs direct and they fill out the property information sheets. I don't know how you could be confused on that one, Joe, but that's as simple as it is. By the way, Just for the record, I wouldn't be I'm sorry, Marcos. I wouldn't be using yellow letters right now if there's plenty of ISBOs for you to call, and in most areas of the country there are. Yellow letters require you spending money. Here in my world right now, we're having trouble following up on all the FISBO calls that our VAs are generating, so we're not sending out yellow letters. So I'd only use yellow letters if in fact I can't get enough FISBOs and I want to generate more leads. Okay, Debbie Major from South Carolina. Hi Ron, wondering if at any time during the due diligence and before you close a deal, do you get a home inspection? Or do you just pick your 5, 10, 15,000 repairs amount and go with that? Thank you kindly for your response. Well, Debbie, I can't remember the last time I got a home inspection because I don't need home inspections. When I make offers on junkers, I expect them to be needing work, and my offers are reflecting accordingly. And so I don't need a home inspection to tell me that it needs work. And when I'm making offers on pretty houses, I'm either in or out. I have no reason to get it inspected, and seldom does a buyer ever ask me to, so I don't worry about it. Home inspections are for the analytical personalities that are worried about all the little fine details because they're probably overpaying for the property. I just don't use them, and sorry, but that's my honest answer. Okay, Des Taylor. Des does not tell me location. Last night we discussed Southwest 4th Street on the call and went for a sandwich lease as best option. She tells me today she will clear the $65,000 equity line balance before closing so the house is free and clear, and that she wants a down payment too. She also says she can get a rental for $1,650 a month, which I believe is more like $1,400 in reality. So I'm suggesting the following example. The asking is $160 and the ARV is $160. She would owe nothing and it needs no repairs, and it's got $165 a month HOA dues. So your proposal then, Des, is to offer $150 with $15,000 down. I assume that's on owner financing, yes, and $135 balance with $1,250 a month, and first payment due in 3 months with the purchase and sale agreement including the right to assign the contract. And then you want to exit by simply assigning that contract for a $7,000 to $10,000 assignment fee. Well, frankly, there's nothing wrong with that program. That sounds like a well-structured deal to me, Des. So go out there and get it done. And guys, remember, any deal you structure with a seller that is palatable by the marketplace, and this one seems to be with a $1,250 a month payment, $15,000 down is not a big deal for owner financing on a $150,000 house. He's going to go get 15 down, plus he's going to try to get 7 more, it says. Des, I would try to get that down payment down some. Remember, the less you get down, the easier it is for you to make more money on the marketplace when you go out and put it back on the market. If you're going to give the seller 15, you're going to be pushing it a little close there. You might have a little trouble getting somebody with $22,000 that wants to buy a $150,000 house. Not saying you can't, but I would work hard on getting that down payment down to the seller. Okay, Chris Holloway. I wasn't able to make the training. How do you go about screening for the tenant buyer? Is there a professional you use other than your daughter, of course? Also, I'm a little concerned about still being a part of the transaction after it is finished. As indicated in your discussion, should something happen with the seller and buyer in the future, could you please elaborate? Well, yes. First of all, my screening is very simple. In fact, I'll have a lesson here shortly on how I go about screening and tenant buyers, so tune into that one. But as far as the, well, let's see, what happens in the future? If you recall, I get a general release from the seller, releasing me from any future responsibility, and we are referring to axe deals here now, guys. Don't get this confused. This is an axe deal. I'm getting in, I'm getting out. I can do the same from the buyer. So I get a general release from both sides, so I have no obligation to this deal in the future. Now, of course, if it's a sandwich lease, it's a different story. I'm lease optioning it from the seller. I'm installing a tenant buyer. I'm in it till it's cashed out. And we'll handle whatever comes up at that time. Same with a subject to. If I take over a house subject to and I put a lease option tenant buyer in it, then obviously I own the house, so I'm in it forever. Okay, the last question is from Roger Priority from Virginia Beach. You mentioned that you pay FSBO researchers $3 for each completed lead sheet and a bonus for each house you purchase. However, you also said that you pay them by the minute. Could you elaborate on that a bit? Yeah, let me do that. Okay, I used to pay people $3 to call FSBOs and complete the sheets. And then along came the VAs, and frankly, now I'm using them. I don't do the $3 route anymore. So we pay the VAs by the minute, and calling FSBOs is their #1 priority, and that's what I want them to do every single week. And that's what's producing us in this building somewhere between 15 and 25 FSBOs per week, just calling those FSBOs. So just ignore the $3 deal. I had a little trouble getting people to do it for $3 because they had to play so much phone tag, chasing people down, and they had to make 4 or 5 attempts to get to them, and by the time it was over, their hourly rate wasn't all that great. So actually the VA thing is working very, very well. So just get one VA to call FSBOs, pay them by the minute, and forget about what it costs per lead sheet, because frankly, you get 10, 15, 20 FSBOs in your hands, and you can't pull out one deal from that pile, there's a real good chance you better get into my live training and figure out what you're doing wrong, because it's just hard to get that many leads without getting at least one good deal out of the pile. So that's it, guys. That's the questions for this week, and keep them coming, and please remember to tell me where you live. I need to know what city you live in. Don't need your home address, but make sure I get the city you live in, please. See you soon.